My name is Helen Chen. I'm the Director of ePortfolio Initiatives in the Office of the University Registrar and a research scientist in the Designing Education Lab in the Department of Mechanical Engineering at Stanford University. Well, I see learning portfolios as a way to help students make the connections between their in-class and out-of-class learning experiences, as well as their experiences on campus and off campus. That kind of integrative learning is really critical to their own self-awareness and personal growth and development during their time, at the university. And most importantly, that learning portfolio can help students tell the story about their education at McMaster.
By using the learning portfolio, I believe that I now have an identity other than my student number. So people know where I came from, know what I've done, know what achievements I have achieved throughout my first year, and in general, during my 4 years here, I want people to know what I've done.
A lot of the work around ePortfolios is grounded in reflective practice, and there's a long tradition and body of literature around reflection. We also draw upon literature around active and experiential learning, self-authorship, and metacognitive awareness, and increasingly this idea of integrative learning across undergraduate learning experiences. As more people are getting involved with ePortfolios, there's also greater research. The Connect to Learning project is one example of different students in different various contexts using portfolios and the impact that has on their learning, their growth, as well as their development. I believe that learning portfolios are beneficial to students in multiple ways. First and foremost, it's something that they really need to own, that it's really there to help them gain understanding and self-awareness about their education, what they're getting out of their time spent at university, and that kind of investment. By documenting their learning this way, they're able to tell a story about the different and variety and range of experiences that comprise their education at McMaster, both the in-class experiences and courses, as well as this out-of-class learning experiences, and how those really fit together to represent this unique education that they've received from this university.
I used it as initially just as a record keeping, but I started using it as more of a visual resume, and I've recently just started actually adding up reflections on my learning experiences.
The advice I would give to faculty, again, goes back to those learning outcomes. What kind of experience are you trying to design for your students? What do you want them to take away from your course? And then in light of those things, what role portfolios can have in helping you support those, support those goals, but also it helps students be able to visibly see what they're getting out of your class. So I think it has benefits both to faculty in helping with the assessment of students and assessing, what kinds of learning students are acquiring, and also, most importantly, helping students understand what they're getting out of their education. Well, I think what's unique about ePortfolios, particularly for students, is really around this idea of building an intellectual identity. That's why you're here at McMaster, is to build this intellectual identity, this identity as a learner. You may have a LinkedIn profile that really focuses on your professional identity. You may have a Facebook account that really is focused on your social identity. But what we're really interested in is helping you establish a framework that will carry you throughout the rest of your life with respect to this idea or this concept of a learning career, and how can we support you in that. Stanford, like many other institutions, faces the challenge of trying to figure out where portfolios might fit in. A lot of it still is also around student buy-in, faculty buy-in, and how do you create a culture that is receptive to this concept of folio thinking. I think what I would say to other institutions is that, higher education is changing, from online education to MOOCs to flipped learning. Increasingly, our students there are greater concerns about, wellness, student mental health and so on. And those are really challenges that we need to address, head on. As we think about, how do we better support our students? How do we help them become the kind of graduates we want them to become with the 21st century professional interpersonal skills so that they can go on and lead successful and productive lives. I see e-portfolios as one approach, and again, not the only approach, but really what I value about portfolios is the reflective aspect, really helping students make those connections among the different experiences that comprise their education, but at the same time, help them tell the story about their experience in higher education to others and a variety of stakeholders, including their family, employers, graduate schools, and other members of society.